Hi guys, it's Gilly Hunt here with my A to Z guide to Stampin' Up products, and I'm on the letter U for ultimate finish, and we're going to look at the ultimate way of finishing your card, your project, your 3D, whatever it is, and that is by embellishing it with something very pretty and rather lovely. And it's a great finishing touch. It's like the last piece of lipstick on the model's face before she hits the catwalk. It's like the last detail and the last piece of the jigsaw that makes that beautiful picture come alive. So here we go. I've just got a couple to show you here, which I just thought I would highlight because they're two of probably my favourites of our current ones at the moment. And we are getting... I know it's not Christmas and I know it's too early to be talking that awful C word, but as crafters, August, September, when the weather starts to close in, that's when we often sit down and start planning our Christmas cards. So I thought I'd just show you these. Aren't these lovely? Beautiful, delicate little snowflakes, all with a sort of bluey, greeny tinge to them and a pinkish tinge to them. They just shimmer and glimmer and will make fabulous additions to your cards. And also we have some lovely little stars, which I can see myself making into lovely fun earrings for Christmas, because embellishments often can be used for all kinds of things other than card and gift making. So I shall hang a couple of these, I'm sure, on some earrings. And I also think I've got some little miniature trees or some little twigs from the garden that I may paint white and just hang some of these from, because they're really pretty just on their own. So here we go. Let's have a quick guide to the ultimate way of finishing your card. So first of all, I've got to remind you that the absolute best thing possible about Stampin' Up is the fact that everything coordinates colour-wise, and that goes for your embellishments as well as everything else. So when we have beautiful faceted gems like this come out, and aren't those lovely? Look at the glitter and sparkle on those with the little facets to them. But they also absolutely match with the Bermuda Bay. They absolutely match with the Balmy Blue. And actually there are a lot of other colours that shimmer and iridesce in there that we could probably pick out too. There's also the real red. When you've got a real red piece of card, you've got the perfect embellishment for it. And not only do we look at our current cardstock, but remember all the inks will match, all the pens, the watercolour pencils, the ribbons, every other thing that has those names on will be perfect matches, including the foils, which we have these beautiful. This is champagne foil, and these are champagne sequins. Rhinestones. Why did I say sequins? They're rhinestones, sorry. But look at the sheen and the shine, and they are all perfectly toned together to make the most lovely professional finish. So there's a few. Let's just give you a few more. We have, for example, the Poppy Parade, because not only do we have the real red, but we have a different red, which is Poppy Parade, and these will match your Poppy Parade. Not only that, but your ribbons, here's our lovely polka dot toil, which actually perfectly complements these lovely white matte finished dots. Now, wouldn't those go beautifully together and create a lovely snowy scene? What about these? More ribbons and more embellishments that kind of coordinate beautifully. Wonderful gems come in this with a beautiful, I don't know whether you can see, they've got like little shimmery shards embedded into the gems themselves. They look, can you see? And not only that, but they go beautifully with the lovely red satin ribbon, and also with this wonderful embroidered ribbon. So although it's not actually a gold, it has the same lovely wheaty tones to it. So beautiful, again, perfectly coordinated. So don't forget that the marvellous thing about Stampin' Up is everything matches. And do you know what? If you can't see the embellishment you want, then you know what you're going to do? Well, you're going to get your Stampin' Blend markers. Okay, not the dye-based markers. These are the alcohol-based markers. These are Stampin' Blends. And you're going to be able then... Oh, that one jumped off. You're going to be able to create any single one you like. So you can take some of our basic embellishments. So this is the basic pearl. You can also do this beautifully with the basic rhinestone, which is just a clear plain one. And what you do is this. Let's make a purple one. So I've got dark Highland Heather here, and I'm going to take this one and I'm simply going to colour it. There you go. And I now have another one to add to my wonderful collection. And all of these started off, oops, there we go. All of these started off as just a plain white pearl. So go and get yourself a whole bag full of plain white pearls and a whole bag full of clear rhinestones and a whole load of Stampin' Blends, and you can have any colour you like. And I'm just going to give you a little piece of advice that not only can you have your colours, but you can have what appears to be a silver and a gold. They come up as a very good silver and gold. And the colours I've used for those are dark smoky slate to make the silver, because the fluorescence or iridescence of the pearl comes through and it sparkles this up and makes it look very silvery. And for the gold one, I've used the light soft suede, which gives you just this lovely warm colour, which actually comes up very, very like a gold. So much like a gold that you can take one of our other embellishments is this beautiful thing. Let me just see if I can get it on a little box, just so it's easier than on my hand. There we go. And it's in silver and pearl. Isn't that pretty? It's a little cluster. But I bet you didn't notice this in the catalogue. And this is a gold one. And all the metal parts are gold too, look. Perfectly gold, lovely and shiny. Well, it isn't. It's simply me that has coloured this one in using the light soft suede. Oops, let's put it the right way up and then you know what we're talking about. So you can create your own embellishments using that extra little bit of colour. Okay, and why would we want to do that? Well, let's just give you some samples, show you some samples of that in use. So here, for example, is a little set of cards I made a little while ago actually, but I didn't want just plain silver or clear little gems, so I used the clear rhinestones and I've coloured them with Bermuda Bay and with I think crushed curry, but it may, yes, I think it was crushed curry. And so I've now got the blue and the yellowy orange, the blue and the yellowy orange all the way through, just to give me that real flavour of the actual cards themselves. Much nicer than just having a plain one that doesn't quite match. Okay, and maybe you also want to do this, and I definitely used crushed curry for this. And this was just a little card with some little bees on, and I was going to keep it black and white. And then I realised that I could actually just colour in the bodies of a couple of the bees and just add some little rhinestones again, coloured using crushed curry. Aren't they pretty? Just adds that little extra, doesn't it? Okay, so first of all, we've got our embellishments all beautifully colour coordinated. But the other thing that Stampin' Up does, it produces some lovely, what I call themed embellishments. And I've just got two here because I could have hundreds of these, and I'm having to control myself and only show you a few things. So what about, for example, the anchors? Aren't these lovely anchors? Just attached with a piece of baker's twine and I've just frayed the end, sort of frayed knot, and it's made a lovely little box with 2 little anchors dangling underneath. And this one, we have the snowflake from a couple of seasons ago, and the little snowball for the snowman. So look out for the themed things too, because sometimes you just want something that's an embellishment to add to your own theme. Okay, what about using your embellishments for just a tiny little highlight, not something huge? What about for a wedding dress? How lovely is that, just to have 3 little pearls just to show you that that's definitely a wedding dress. It changes it to a wedding dress from being maybe a long prom dress, even though it's in the darker colour. What about adding just a tiny little bit of sparkle? Let's take away the white now because we're on to cards. What about a little tiny piece of sparkle in each of these little snowflakes, just to highlight the silver base, and also just to pick out for fun the sparkle and remember, these will be a card maybe on a mantelpiece in the winter when you've got the lights on, and these will sparkle. Okay, what else have I got? Sometimes we have to do what I think is probably my least favourite card to make, but probably my most important card in life to make, and that's a sharing your sorrow or a sympathy card. And I want it to be simple and lovely and appreciated, and what I've got is a really beautiful simple design. And all I've done is put a tiny little gem in each of the centres of each of the flowers. There we are, look, let's make them catch the light. And it just lifts it and gives it a little bit of friendliness instead of it looking very dour. So I could maybe take, let's get rid of those, I could maybe take the same branch, here it is, in a different colour, and I can shabby chic it up and make a completely different feeling card. And this time I've taken the pearls and I've coloured them to match my bow. So I've coloured them to match my bow, which I think is Pool Party. And because I've done that, it kind of dulls them down, but makes them rather nice little pretty standing out centerpieces. Okay. What about, again, we're thinking of just tiny embellishments. We're not doing much, but here's 2 samples of stars, which have just got a centre popped into them. So these have been done with a beautiful matching pearl to match the base here. And it just sparkles it up and makes it really pretty. Would be very dull without those. And it's only 5 embellishments, but it just makes all the difference. And here again, I've actually only got 4 embellishments, but just these 4 little dots somehow link the whole thing together and make it work. I hope you agree with that anyway. Okay, now then, another thing you can do with embellishments is you can just neaten and tidy up your bows. I quite like a bow without an embellishment, but I know some people feel like a bow isn't complete until it's been finished off. So how about a tiny weeny little dot in the middle of this little limey green bow, just to bring out the pink to match the pinky purple of the base. What about just a simple bow? In fact, it's not even a bow, it's a wrapped over and back, and a wrapped over and back and stuck down pieces of ribbons, and this is put into the centre to make it feel like a bow, so it sits very nice and flat to the card. What about a simple piece of split linen thread, which again is in a lovely matching colour to coordinate with everything, and a little pearl to match on top, which I coloured again using the correct colour because I've got the blender pen. And then you could always go for a really major piece, statement piece. So here's our fabulous gold foil butterfly with our copper ribbon, and in the middle of that we have the wonderful faceted embellishment just to be a real centre point. Okay, So ribbons and bows we can neaten. Well, the other thing that we have in the catalogue as an embellishment, almost every season, we have sequins. Let me just put this, let me put that to one side for a minute. We have sequins, and we have them in a whole lot of different colours and styles. So how about a few just ideas? Simple things like this is a bee, and because the sequins themselves almost have a honeycomb kind of design on them, it kind of just makes it feel like there's a load of honey. Doesn't that brighten up what is really a very simplistic little card? And they're just stuck on at random. How about taking the colours of your interior design here and bringing the colours out by putting the embellishments on the outside, which makes you look to the inside. And all we've done is taken sequins of matching colours from the card within. And this is where, again, Stampin' Up get it right every time, because each time they bring out a pack of sequins, they bring them out to match certain papers or certain embellishments that are already in the catalogue. So fabulous. Here's another example of example of that. It's a sample and an example. So here's our colours on one of the papers, and these lovely sequins just bring out and pick out the exact colours. And that's not a coincidence. That's something that Stampin' Up do regularly. So look at your sequin packs. They're not just put there for nothing. They are put there because they coordinate with things within the collections. And here's the last one. This was a lovely little stand-up that we made at a team event with Michelle. And again, I've taken the colours from the background and brought them through up onto the front. And it just adds that extra little something. Okay, so what else can we do with our embellishments? Well, sometimes our embellishments can actually add texture and design to our cards. So here's this one. It's quite hard for you to see actually, but there's quite a lot of texture here. This is raised up. You can just see the edges of the dimensionals. And there's lace, and this is set down, and this is embossed and up. But by adding some of these lovely metal embellishments, it just pulls it forward and gives it even more texture. And also, as in terms of a design, if you're an arty person and you like your design, this and this and this and this make a perfectly wonderful compositional triangle, which link your eye through this bird up to the thing, down their tail, down to here and across, and it keeps that flow going round your card so that somebody's eye enjoys that card and it doesn't settle in one place. It allows you to look at the whole thing, but without it feeling like, oh my goodness, you've just scattered things at random all over the place. Okay, what about a different type of embellishment? Not only do we have our pearls and our sequins and our rhinestones and our buttons and things like that, but we also have things like these lovely embellishments, which come as packs of lovely, wonderful little, let me show you on the side of my hand here, wonderful, lovely, shiny little leaves and all sorts in gold foil. And these come as part of kits and packs. There's some little pieces from kits and packs too. Here we are, look. So look through, check out the papers, check out the packs, check out the kits for extra embellishments. And I thought I'd just share with you a lovely little project we did just recently in one of the team events. We made this little tobacco tin really, but we've made it into a lovely little mini album. So here we go. And we've used the pearl, I've used the pearl to link, and these lovely gold designs to link this through. So that as I open it, here we go, all of the pieces have a little piece of this gold or a few little pearls, and it just makes the whole thing flow from one to the next. And on the other side, oops, let me hop it out. Oh, there we go. And we have a piece that takes out. And this will have some lovely, lovely photographs, and I've left some spaces so I can do some journaling and some writing on it too. Isn't that pretty? Okay, and that goes back in there. So think about using your embellishments particularly nicely on three-dimensional projects too. Now, up until now, we've just been looking at them really as aids to your design, not as in fundamental parts of your design. But here I want to show you that, oh, excuse me, the actual embellishments, there aren't very many, there's only a few, and here and here. And I've also cut out with tiny little punches some extra pieces out of foil, which kind of act as embellishments too. But it's having those little embellishments that just bring each of those designs to life. And actually what was important was to look and find those embellishments before I started. Not wait till the end and then put them on, but use them as the ultimate design piece. So I found the embellishments first and then designed around them. And that means that the whole set kind of works together, even though each individual one is quite different, but stylistically they work together. Okay, and what have we got now? Oh, we're on number 9. This was my top 10, by the way. I forgot to tell you that at the beginning. So there are so many things I could have done with embellishments. I could have done top 100, but I thought I'd restrict myself to 10. So this is number 9. We're already at number 9. And that is using your embellishments to add a bit of weight. Now, we sometimes need weight because, for example, this lovely bag, let me just open it up so that it sits like a bag. Okay, here we go. This lovely bag is great, but these lovely ribbons down the front here would not sit flat and would not sit straight unless they had a bit of weight to them. They would just flop about. But because, if I bring this right up to the camera, we've got a lovely little flower and the little gem, that means that this little flower adds quite a lot of weight. It's just a little almost see-through white flower, but it adds quite a bit of weight. And by the time you've got 2 on there and 1 on there, it helps hold it flat. And you can in fact see how where we've got the 2, that sits even flatter than the 1. But it just helps add that extra weight and gravity so that when the bag's sitting up, those just fall nice and flat at the front of your bag. So when you're doing 3D projects, consider where gravity is going to work, and if you need to, add some maybe metallic or wooden or some of the heavier embellishments to your toggles and your ribbons. Here's another one, for example. I always want to tip it the wrong way up. I'm sorry about that. Here we go. This is just a little tissue container, which is rather pretty. And it's based on a swap I got some time ago, actually. But I've changed it up quite a bit. And I've added these lovely acorns. Aren't these fab? And they're really heavy, so it does mean that they sit really nicely and they return back into place every time that they wobble about. So consider when you're making things how heavier embellishments can sometimes add a bit of weight to your projects. Okay, and last but not least, number 10, I'm going to show you 3 cards which I just love. First of all, if you've got embellishments, you've got the possibility of making shaker cards. And I'm sure you've seen shaker cards before, and if you haven't, then I'm sure I will be making more shaker cards nearer to Christmas. But here's a lovely selection of wonderful kind of rainy colours, sort of mostly blues and watery colours, with a bit of pink just to zizz it up, and a lovely umbrella, and we've now got a wonderful shaker card. How much fun is that? Trapped underneath a window sheet and just edged to make sure they don't escape. Okay, What about using your embellishments? Here we've got some wonderful clear rhinestones, which are gorgeous, just to really make a statement, to curl and move around that card. What a great congratulations for maybe a winter engagement, something like that I was thinking of. When I made it, I thought, wouldn't it be great to have, if somebody just got engaged at Christmas time or something like that, and you don't want a Christmassy card or a wedding card yet, but you wanted to say congratulations. How about that? Okay, and last but not least, I'm going to introduce you to a new word. And I've brought this because I brought this to our team event some couple of years back actually now, and I introduced the word to them, and it's called Emboodling, spelt E-M-B, so there's the embellishment, and instead of doodling it's emboodling, because what we're doing is we're taking the embellishments, some lovely all sorts of bits, and we're actually doodling with them, and we're taking them on a journey across our card, and we're making it a pop-up. Isn't that fun? And we're taking the emboodling all the way round and across our card. And in fact, don't forget that although they can be the ultimate way of finishing, they can also be the start of your design project. And before I go, although I've given you my top 10 now, I do want to remind you that there is a special little word, well, no, phrase really, not a word, that we use in Stampin' Up amongst us demonstrators. And that's, if you make a mistake, and we all do this sometimes, we all dip our finger in a piece of ink and drop it on the card and we go, oh no, we've spoilt it. Don't forget, there's probably a sequin or a star or a little something that will go over the top of that you could stick in place and you could hide that mistake with. So not only are embellishments the ultimate way to finish a card, they're also the best way to save the card. And our phrase is that a mistake is just simply a chance to embellish. So take a chance, buy yourself a whole host of embellishments and have a really great fun time crafting. And I've just knocked that off. There we are, put it back. Okay, thanks very much, and I'm hoping you'll come back for V, where I'm going to show you how to heat emboss, because we're going to look at V for Versamark ink. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.